Hey, Justin Chamness here, and welcome back to another quick tutorial about how to fill out my proprietary agreements. Today we're dealing with the subject to strategy. This is straight subject to. This is not anything complicated. In fact, subject to might be one of the easiest of all the strategies to fill out the paperwork. And you can find the paperwork at my site, justinchamness.com. I offer a free transaction engineer course. In that course, not only will you learn how to use the strategies, what they are, when to employ them, but also you will find these agreements. Now, first of all, let me go ahead and share screens with you, and I'll share with you a little bit about what you'll find over on the subject to module of that course. And that is, first of all, a property information sheet. Okay, so it's important for me to pause right here and just say, hey, listen, if you're encountering a homeowner who is ready to allow you to take over the house so they can walk away and will allow you to either catch up or continue making their mortgage payment for them until at some point in the future you pay them off or pay the house off, then this is a good information sheet for you to use. All right. Now you're going to have, and why I say that's a good information sheet for you to use is because you're going to have a great title company or closing attorney. Yes, you could, if you're going to take over a property subject to, you could have them probably just sign, the homeowner just sign over a general warranty deed or maybe a quick claim deed or something like that. But to do it properly, really, you're gonna have to have a real closing attorney that understands what subject to means. And I'll tell you right now, not every title company out there in your town or area will do a subject to closing. So you're going to have to ask around in your local RIA, your real estate investment club. Hey, who around town is the closing guy for doing subject to deals? Now, when you find that person, this is the information that they're going to want. Okay, they're going to want to know the address. They're going to want to know who the original homeowners is, their name. There might be more than one because it might be a couple of people that have borrowed money from the mortgage company. You might want to get their new address if they're moving and their phone number, right? Okay, because the title company is definitely going to need to be able to reach out to them during this closing process. Secondly, he's going to want to know the lender's name, the loan number, that's the account number for the mortgage, the customer service address, phone number, the balance, basically a guesstimate of the balance because you may not know exactly. And any arrears, monthly payments, what that is, the interest rate that the original mortgage is at, and the start of the loan. Okay. Now, what will be really nice is if you can provide a copy of the last statement or a coupon book or a copy of a promissory note or a copy of a mortgage. Okay. That'd be really helpful for the title guy too. So now, once you have all of those things in place, it will be easier for you to go ahead and turn that in to the title company guy or closing attorney and have him go ahead and fill out all of the or draw up all of the appropriate paperwork for closing a subject to in your area. Okay. Now, there's also a couple other things that you're going to want to have before we jump into the actual agreement here. All right. Number one is you're also going to want to have the homeowner fill out this document here. It's called an authorization to release information. Authorization dated this day, borrower's name, that's the original homeowner who got the mortgage, the loan number again, and the property address. All right. And then two right here would be the bank or the mortgage company. Okay. So you can see it says that they are going to authorize you to get information. All right. So this is going to be nice for the title company to be able to get information and you to get information from the original mortgage company. Okay. Now, not only that, but there is a disclosure in this module, and this disclosure you can see right here is for straight subject to agreements. So this here will actually be serving as your cover your butt letter, your CYA letter, concerning the purchase of, and then you put the address, all right, by your name and the date, okay? Your name as the buyer, the investor. I understand and acknowledge that I'm selling the property referenced above, and my current loan will not be paid off at closing. I'm selling the property subject to the existing mortgage. Now the seller is going to acknowledge that he is actually not paying. They're not paying. You're not paying off the mortgage. Okay, you're going to take over the house subject to that mortgage. All right, I'm selling the property subject to the existing mortgage. I've been made aware and understand that my current mortgage or loan or deed of trust may contain a due on sale clause, which obligates me to inform my lender at any time I transfer actual or equitable title to my property. If I transfer actual or equitable title in my home to this real estate dealer or you, the investor, and my deed to secure debt mortgage contains a due on sale clause, I must notify my lender of this transaction, and my lender has the right to call the entire amount due. Now, whether he actually lets the lender know, I don't think, probably you should, but I don't know. That's just me. I'm not a lawyer. I know nothing. Okay. So take this as entertainment value only, wink, wink. Okay. Cause I don't know nothing. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney in any state or even on TV. I further understand and acknowledge the loan will stay in my name until it is paid off. I will tell you this though. We will cover an agreement strategy here in the next couple weeks. I'll explain how to fill it out. It's called contract for deed or an executory contract. Now, if somebody does call the loan due over here on a straight subject to deal, then you probably just sign the house back over to the original homeowner and switch your strategy with the guy to an executory contract. All right, that's just a thought. All right, now you can go ahead and finish reading this. But down here at the bottom, the seller needs to sign and all of that good stuff. So here we go with the full disclosure. Super, super duper easy to fill out. All right. The final piece of paper that you're going to find over in the module, and it is called the subject to purchase and sale agreement. All right. This purchase and sale agreement is pretty simple. It's just going to take us a few minutes to fill this out. So let's jump right in. Okay, here we are. Disclaimer. Throw away this front page because I'm not an attorney, like I just said. Here's the investor's name. The investor's name, ABC Investment Company and or assigns, okay? Because you might assign this deal. This is sometimes your investor buddies over at on Facebook would love to put some cash into a deal like this and pick up a home. Where else can you buy a home for so little cash? All right. And then cash flow. And that might be the key here is that, cash flow. Now, the investor's name, you and or your assigns, okay, referred to as buyer, agrees to buy, and the seller's name, that's the guy who owns the home originally, referred to as seller, agrees to sell, commonly known as ABC Apple Cart Way, okay? 123 Apple Cart Way. The property is in Jackson County. Okay, wherever it's at. The property will be conveyed by general warranty deed. Seller agrees to deliver the property in its present as is condition, except as otherwise specified herein. Seller warrants that he knows of no latent defects, no floodplains, issues, studies, blah, blah, blah. Purchase price. Let's get down to the meat. Starting with the subject to price, and we're going to build the price right here. So you might do 1, 2, and 3 before you actually fill this out, because the addition of 1, 2, and 3 here will be the answer you put in this blank here. Okay. Subject to the existing loan, the property purchase is subject to the existing loans with, okay, America's Lending Corp. Okay, whatever mortgage company that is, with an approximate loan balance of $196,000, let's say, for example, which commenced on, let's say he bought the house 2.5 years ago. Okay, so whatever that date was, he says he bought it in July of 2002, then put July 2002. Okay, earnest money. Okay, this might be some money that you put down here to make this contract official. All right, you're going to put $100 down as earnest money, which will be held by to be determined title company because you ain't found one yet, let's say. If you know the one that's going to close up, like I said, not all of them will do it. If you find the one that will do it, you'll want to put that here. All right. Now, this amount will be applied toward the purchase price at closing unless it is returned due to seller's failure to perform or the non-fulfillment of the contingency. Additional payment. Now, this is moving money, okay? So you might have to give the guy some moving money. The buyer agrees to make a one-time payment of, let's say, $2,000, moving money being paid to the seller at closing, concurrent with the transfer and recording of the deed. So you can see if we put 196,000 right here, let's say in the loan balance, let's say it was 196,000, and you put down some $150 earnest money or 500, let's say, let's just do 500. Additional payment moving money, so 196,000 plus number 3, 2,000 would be 198,000. So the total purchase price would be 198,000 because you're going to take over the mortgage of 196,000. You're going to give him $2,000 in moving money. Okay, so that's 198,000. So that's what you would put up here. The buyer agrees to purchase the property described above for an approximate sum of 198,000. All right. Now this is straight subject to here. This is pretty simple. It's not complicated. As a straight subject to, buyer will pay 100% of the usual and customary buyer and seller side closing costs. All right. Seller will pay prorated taxes, mortgages, blah, blah, all that standard, which means the closing attorney will, prorate things to the day of closing so that you're not paying a whole year's worth of taxes. Now, there might be some things that come up where maybe he owes back taxes. You'll have to pay. So, that's why you need a good closing attorney that can put all of these things together appropriately. All right. Insurability, insurable title, and closing. Okay. So, in other words, if the seller cannot deliver marketable title, insurable title, and it's not in a floodplain, it's not in a flood zone, like it's not in flood zone C or something like that, or whatever it is. I think A is the best, and I think C is the worst. Or maybe it's backwards. I'll have to look it up real quick. I can't remember this morning. Usually 10 to 30 days after the following conditions have been met. So in other words, we'll set up closing as soon as the title company guy or the closing attorney can prove to us that, the deed is clear and ready to go. Okay. And the title company guy has time to do it. Okay, so this is kind of how this is written. So you'll want to put it in here like 10 days. Okay, usually that's what I'll do is put 10 days. All right, after the agreement will be closed and the deed and the other closing papers delivered within 10 days. All right, after the following conditions have been met, the seller and all occupants have to leave the property also, and provide unlimited access to me to show the property if I'm planning on assigning this to one of my partners. Okay. Like I might pick a Saturday. I might say Saturdays, or I might say times, negotiated or times agreed upon with seller. Okay. Or something like that. But he has to agree to allow me to get into the house, to look at the house, to show it to my contractors, my potential buyers, my so on and so forth, my partners and so on. All right. So that's how that works there. Now slide down, you can see if the offer is not accepted by the seller within 48 hours or so, then it's going to be canceled. The offer is canceled. This written offer here, the contract I'm talking about, will be null and void, canceled, void, nothing, kaput. It's not even an option anymore. And so I'll put not today's date, but 48 hours from today. Sometimes 24. All right. The buyer may place small marketing sign in the yard as well. Okay. So he's going to give me some marketing permissions here. And then here we just have regular signatures. Obviously, you're the buyer and the original homeowner is the seller. Okay. So doing a subject to purchase and sale agreement, not complicated. In fact, it's one of the more easy of the strategies. Now, what you have to do, of course, is you want to take all of these documents that I just shared with you, and you want to then take them to your title company guy or your closing attorney guy. You have the purchase and sale agreement, the borrower's authorization to release information. You have that disclosure for the seller, and then you also have this property information sheet. All right, so if you have all of that information and you've packaged it together nicely, put it in an email, send it over to the right title company or closing attorney guy, they'll have a lot of dry powder to go to work on. putting together a great subject to transaction for you. Now, again, this is straight subject to, okay? But you're still going to have to rely on a title company guy. You'll be amazed at how simple all of this becomes when you understand how the paperwork works. That's one thing that I've noticed that students of mine struggle with is they avoid the paperwork because they're not attorneys. They're intimidated by paperwork. They're like, oh, these are legal documents. I don't know about what I'm going to do. I don't know. How do I understand? Okay, just get into the legal documents, because once you understand the legal documents, you'll understand exactly what the process is, what's happening here, and ultimately what your goal with the homeowner is. So don't hold back. Get right into the documents, devour them, tear them up. I'm not an attorney either. Read them until you understand them and can fill them out, and then you'll be prepared to actually do these transactions. Okay, I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye bye.